What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So we're going to cover something a little different, and I don't usually watch these types of videos. I've always been pretty good in this kind of situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover it together, because if I pick up something that I can add to myself and what I want to do for my own life, maybe it'll help you guys. Okay, so let's just put me over here as far left as I can go. All right, let's go.
Man, Don Draper is the epitome of confidence.
You're happy with your agency? You're not happy with anything. You don't want most of it. You want all of it. And I won't stop until you get all of it.
But what most people don't realize is that confidence actually comes in two flavors. There's the external confidence that you project, which can make closing deals, making friends, or seducing happen more naturally. But there's also the internal confidence you feel, how comfortable you are in any given situation. So in this video, we're going to be analyzing what Don can teach us about both levels of confidence and how mastering each level can take you from being nervous to completely confident in any situation. Now, at the most basic level, we have the way that Don carries himself. Obviously, he's a good-looking guy, he's got nice suits, but it's his relaxed body language that is the most interesting. For instance, he almost always sits asymmetrically and spreads himself out comfortably, will actually cause you to relax if you do this yourself. Don also moves freely around most environments, which signals a sense of comfort and ownership wherever he is. He acts like the boss everywhere. Now, you don't need to take it this far, but simply having your feet at least shoulder width apart when you're standing, or leaning with your arm draped over a chair in a way that doesn't prevent someone else from sitting there, goes a long way towards projecting confidence. Additionally, you'll see Don subconsciously signal that others need to work for his attention. He leans back in his chair even when he's in a position where you'd think he'd want to win someone over, like with clients. This flips the dynamic and makes them work harder to win him over.
I've been in the winter. It's quite a shock coming back.
Well put, but that could be any vacation. This was very, very different.
Don creates a similar effect with his eye contact. In the beginning of many interactions, he's aloof, making limited eye.
So going back just a second here to this.
Well put, but
The whole like body language thing. So that is something that I had to actually sort of be kind of conscious and aware of, because I would sit like this a lot. Okay, I would sit forward a lot with my shoulders, like it was explained to me, when you pull your shoulders back, you're opening up your heart to the world, so to speak, right? And when people are hunched over like this, it's usually they've gone through some sort of trauma, so they're going to try to keep themselves away from the world. They're hiding, right? Whereas when you lay back and you have open body language like Don is doing, then what you're projecting to the world is, you can't hurt me. You can't do anything to hurt me. I am confident here. You can't fuck with me. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. I'm just giving my opinion on this stuff. So for me, it's not like I have done A and gotten B and people have said that, but having body language is what, 71% of communication, right? Which is why people even resonate with my videos in the first place, because they're picking up on so many things that I'm doing that, and they're like, some people don't like it, and some people are like, bro, like, you're the only coach that I like. And that's what resonance is. Resonance is, it's like, okay, like, I can learn something from you, and I have that with my mentor as well. So let's just continue.
It could be any vacation. This was very, very different.
Don creates a similar effect with his eye contact. In the beginning of many interactions, he's aloof, making limited eye contact, almost disinterested in what's being said.
You're going to ply me with drinks and convince me what a terrible mistake I'm making.
That is quite a drink.
If you're sitting opposite him, this will make you want to try to win his attention. It feels good to get the person who isn't paying attention to you to do so. And when the other person has done that, Don gives his full piercing eye contact on special occasions, like when he's making a point.
What you call love was invented by guys like me to sell nylons.
Or nailing a pitch like he does on this campaign for lipstick.
She wants to tell the world he's mine. He belongs to me, not you. She marks her man with her lips.
Or seducing you like he does all the time in the show.
My name's Don.
The biggest thing to take into your own life from Don's variable eye contact is not that you need to ignore people to be cool, but that when you are making your key points that you want paid attention to, hone in. Those narrow, piercing eyes keep people captivated, and they show confidence in the words that you're speaking while emphasizing your most important points. Now, you can do everything that you've talked about up until now fairly easily, but a much more difficult element of body language to master is what you don't do. And if you pay attention to Don, you'll notice that he doesn't fidget. And that takes us to the next deeper layer of confidence, which is non-reactivity. This is something we actually talked about in our video with James Bond. This is much harder to fake because our emotions often get the best of us in these high-stress situations. And this is one area where lacking in confidence can really be a detriment. You overreact to your own mistakes and end up making things worse. But when you can remain non-reactive, it shows that you're not pressured by what's happening around you, and that makes you come across as more powerful. For instance, watch how Don reacts when two men hit on his wife in Rome, and how he calmly roleplays that he doesn't even know her. Contrast that with their insecure overreactions to him.
May I join you?
Yankee, hey, go home. Che tu è brutto.
Are they making fun of me?
A little bit.
I'm only in Rome for one night.
The sense of comfort and power that Don conveyed simply by not reacting is surely part of what drew Betty to him in the first place. This same level of low reactivity is especially important if you're a leader in times of crisis. Now, feeling your feelings is important, but left unchecked, they can get in the way of pulling together to get out of a serious issue. Keeping emotional expression in check actually inspires resolve in others. In addition, simply remaining silent when things are going wrong buys you valuable time to
So adding to that, a lot of you guys have found my channel because of a breakup that you're going through, right? So keeping your emotions in check, that's what I want to nail. Because she's gotten to the point where she wants to leave or not want you around anymore because of how she feels about you, right? It's not good. So to turn things around and to stand out from other men, which is what you're trying to do and what you're doing. This is, society. It's not like you're trying to compete with one particular guy either, but on the whole, a lot of guys don't have confidence. A lot of guys don't have good self-esteem. Okay? They don't. It's very, there is a very low percentage, I would say. And again, I think this comes back to the success variation that we have in our society. The top 10% of guys are crushing it, and then the rest are, So a lot of guys that I've met currently, they blame themselves and continue to blame themselves and get mad at themselves and be emotional instead of just analytical. So just for an example, guys who are trying to work on their money, they're like, man, I should have learned this stuff 7 years ago, right? I said the same thing and I was like, whoa, I'm doing it now. What does it matter? Right? Speed doesn't matter, and getting attached to outcomes doesn't matter. You just have to stay in the moment as best as you can and be cool being there, and just work on your business or work on yourself as you go. So that is, it's really small things that guys can correct in order to just step up their game a couple of levels. One of those things that I've noticed just from coaching guys is they don't let things go nearly as quickly as they should, right? They get really upset and worked up over mistakes that they've made, right? Oh my God, she broke up with me and, I can't ever get her back. It's all my fault, blah, blah, blah. Instead of just going, okay, you know what? I made these mistakes and I'm just going to learn from them and move forward. Yeah, I know it hurts. I know it hurts going through a breakup, fellas. I know it does. But you have to at least use the energy you have every day to continue to move things forward and let go of all of your emotional baggage that you're holding on to.
Think without exposing you as someone who is totally confused and lost. Don is so good under pressure, not because he's just fast on his feet. That's actually an illusion. It's because he slows down enough to think calmly and react in the best way possible. Watch how he responds when a client doesn't like his pitch. And I'm going to have to speed it up a bit because he gives himself a full 20 seconds to think.
Gentlemen, before you leave, can I just say something?
As a general rule, we are more demanding of fast responses from ourselves than we are from others. People give themselves only 30% as much time to respond as they would give someone else, which is why so many of us find it hard to pause when doing a public speech, even though we know it's a powerful tool. So when you are in a stressful situation and it feels like you need to do something right now, pause. You're almost always better served from a presentation perspective and a decision-making perspective to take a deep breath and slow down. Otherwise, you're going to look frantic and out of control. Now, the next sign of a more deeply internalized confidence is not trying to convince other people. And that might sound odd because when you think of Don Draper, you might think of the salesman who is all about persuasion. But being persuasive generally is very, very different from trying to convince any specific person. So paradoxically, Don makes many of his sales by not badgering clients and instead framing himself as an equal partner in a negotiation. He's screening them as much as they are screening him.
Call it a day. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Is that all?
You're a non-believer. Why should we waste time on kabuki?
Sit down.
No. Not until I know I'm not wasting my time.
Now, this is effective because one of the ways that we determine if we want to associate with anyone is by how much they seem to want and need us. We, of course, like people who are interested in us, but not too much. Much better is to share your interest, whether it's with a date or a client, but to walk away if it's not reciprocated. Now, one caveat here is that if you walk away in an emotional huff, you're not signaling confidence or power. You're signaling petulance, and that makes other people just glad to be rid of you. Now, Don is guilty of this from time to time when people don't like his ads.
Hope you enjoyed looking in the window. Give me a minute. Out. Get out.
Don, excuse me?
Get your things and get out of my office now.
So resist the urge to yell or to tell a date or a client how sorry that they're going to be for blowing the opportunity, and instead step into the mindset that says, well, looks like we're not a match, I wish you the best. Now, this finally takes us to the deepest layer of confidence, and that is the belief that no matter what, you will be okay. When you've internalized this, confidence comes easy.
That is exactly what my coaching is all about, guys. At the end of the day, when you really peel back all the layers, you're going to be fine. And I'm going to let the video speak for that, but like that is something that I think most people are super worried about when they go through a breakup or they go through some sort of turmoil in life, and they're like, I feel bad now. I need to stop feeling bad now. You know, if I had like, you know, a quarter for every time somebody's like, I feel like crap right now, something's happening right now, and I don't know what to do about it right now. It's like, give it like another 6 hours and see how you feel. Right? Understand that you're going to be fine and you're going to be okay, and there's nothing that's going to kill you. Okay? So going through a breakup, yes, it feels like shit, and you want to stop feeling like shit. But understand sometimes that you aren't going to be able to influence that right away, and it's going to take time for you just to calm down and reach that momentary peace, right? A lot of guys don't know how to do that, and I think they need to. That's why Sedona method is so important, and understanding fears and understanding how to release and let go of things that are hurting you or things that you don't even know are there, right? Sometimes people don't even know that what they're even dealing with. So.
Now, it all sounds nice, but how do you develop this belief so that you feel it in any situation? One of the fastest ways to build any belief is to live it. So you show yourself that you're going to be okay by doing exactly the things that you think you wouldn't be okay if you did. And
facing your fears, right? So anyone who's gone through a breakup now and you've gone through a breakup before, you can think back and go, man, I thought that was going to kill me, but it never did.
You don't have to jump off of buildings. In this case, I mean social things. So this is what Don does in the final seasons, and I'm going to have to quickly catch you up on the plot of Mad Men for the next clips to make sense. For those of you who don't know, Don's real name is Dick Whit.
So that's a spoiler for anybody. So going forward, anybody who hasn't seen Mad Men, this is a spoiler. So, you know, if you don't want to get this show spoiled for you, it's been out for a while. So, but if you don't want to get it spoiled for you, stop watching.
He stole his lieutenant's identity when he was in the Korean War in order to escape his old life and get out of the war. And he's lived with that fake name and even somewhat of a fake persona ever since. He displays the outer veneer of stoicism and confidence while behind closed doors, his family and even sometimes his career and emotions are crumbling. But in the final seasons of Mad Men, Don tells the truth at great personal cost. First, he tells Hershey's, his client, the truth about his orphaned childhood, which loses him the account and gets himself fired.
I was an orphan. I grew up in Pennsylvania. In a whorehouse.
Do you want to advertise that?
If I had my way, you would never advertise.
Later, he confesses his moral failings to Peggy while at a retreat in California.
I broke all my vows. Scandalized my child. Took another man's name.
And finally, after he's been honest out loud, he has the courage to reveal the emotions that made him abandon his old life. And it's all set into motion when a man at the retreat confesses to feeling unseen and unlovable.
I had a dream. I was on a shelf in the refrigerator. Someone closes the door and the light goes off. And I know everybody's out there eating. And then they open the door and you see them smiling. And they're happy to see you, but maybe they don't look right at you. And maybe they don't pick you. And then the door closes again, the light goes off.
Don is sitting there shell-shocked from his conversation with Peggy, but as he listens, he goes from completely ignoring him to totally understanding where he's coming from. Despite the validation from business success and affairs with many beautiful women, Don still feels unlovable. And when he finally recognizes that same feeling of being unseen and unlovable, he can authentically connect with his man. is the deepest layer of confidence. It's not about always looking cool or always saying the right thing. And it's not even about getting other people to respond to you in a favorable way. It's living your life, at least socially, like you will be okay no matter what. And that means that you can tell the truth even if it loses you a client. You can tell the truth even if it makes you feel weak. Because when you live the truth, believing that you're going to be okay no matter what, you won't stay feeling weak for long. Instead, you'll stop feeling like you always need to say the right thing, and you'll stop worrying that someone else might reject you.
So that's a big part of dealing with the next as well. So many of you guys are like, Kyle, I need to know what the next step is, because what if they reach out to me and I don't know what to do, right? And we'll go through that and I'll help them through that. It's not that I'll leave them in the dark. But so many of guys going through a breakup are so worried about what their ex is going to think, what they're going to say, because they're afraid of that next level of rejection or more rejection. And I say to them, I say, look, this woman broke up with you and does not want to be with you anymore. You need to remember that, and remember that you matter too, and that you need to let her work for you now if she wants to start barking around. Now, again, when they come around, don't just ignore them, right? But you should be very stern about what you are trying to do. You know, if you want to continue your relationship, let's take it slow, because clearly we got here on our own together in this bad situation. So we need to go slow and work through things. But you don't want to be somebody else's option, right? And so many guys are willing to take that option role because it's something. And that comes from not thinking that not everything's going to be okay. You're going to lose her, so I'm just going to take this secondary role in her life. And guys, that's all bullshit. You guys need to always be cool with being alone, you know, like being on your own. Nothing's going to phase you. You have a great life. You're happy, right? So focus on your goals. Whatever it is that will make you happy, find that and work on that. Because I'm telling you, a woman's not going to be it. That's a secondary thing. Relationships are not the only thing in this world that are going to make you happy.
Because you know that you will never reject yourself. And when you combine this deep internal confidence with the ability to project external confidence, every interaction becomes easier and more fun, and you may begin to even look forward to the situations that previously stressed you out. Now, if you're interested in the fastest way that I know to build both deep confidence and that external showing confidence, I put together a video program to fast track you to the point where you feel centered in any social situation, so you don't feel like you're hesitating or grasping for what to say to make an interaction go amazingly. This is our flagship program called Charisma University. It's a 6-week program, and every day you will get a step-by-step action guide to make confidence your default mode of being. And it focuses both on the presentation aspect as well as that inner game aspect, which is nice because it takes the guesswork out of everything. You just follow the guide and you get the results. So if you want to fast track to more confidence, more charisma, you can learn more about the course with the button on the screen or the link in the description. We have had thousands of members go through this course and get a ton out of it. So I hope that you decide to join if this is an area of your life that you are looking to improve. Either way, you are okay and you will be okay.
So what did you guys think of the video? Put it down below. I'm sure many of you guys know who this guy is in this channel, but the confidence that comes when you have come out the other side of turmoil is see, I think a lot of people get stuck in their trauma, and they almost become identified with it. Now I'm just talking here, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of thinking out loud, but they become identified with it, and it kind of gives some people like meaning, and they you know, and that's why, again, like focus, mission, and purpose, that like that whole thing. When you have purpose, you have an identity and tied to that purpose, or maybe that purpose is your identity, or part of it is, or purpose is, okay? And a lot of guys get stuck, you know, they got dumped 5 years ago and they're still thinking about some girl. And guys are like, how do I get over this? What do I need to do? And I think personally speaking, when you have something bigger than yourself that you're doing, that you're working on, that you're trying to create, that is when you start to care more about your individual, because you're creating something. Your energy is cultivating, and it's building and growing, and you're influencing something. I think when you do that, and then you start to see the growth of it, it really makes an impact on your, I was going to say sanity, but it makes an impact on your happiness, I think. And there are going to be things that you're going to be like creating confidence is more facing challenge and coming out the other side and knowing that you're going to be okay. Just like the last point was, right? And of having a business or having something that you create outside of your job or whatever, you're going to have challenges. I get challenged. I'm not going to say all the time, but often, right? And I know that everything's going to be okay, right? So I think that's where that confidence comes from. So, take that with what you will. Obviously, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Coaching's down below in the description box.